What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back here with another video, and today we're going to be rocking with the Cleveland Browns records predictions. Now, I know it's been literally 1 week since I posted this. If you guys are in the Discord, which if you aren't already, you guys should be, then you guys would know what the heck is up. Lots of stuff going on, especially moving. So, lots of fun going on there. So, we're back in Texas, so we're going to have plenty of content to do. So, without further ado, let's rock the video. Let's talk about the team, Cleveland Browns. They are super stacked. All right. So I chose them to go to, I believe, the AFC Championship last year, which they had a good shot at. I'm not gonna lie, they did a really good job last year. Obviously, we didn't see that transcendence from Josh Allen. That kind of complicated things in the entire playoff picture. I'm not just talking about for the Browns, but let's just go over the team. Obviously, we know their quarterback situation. They got Baker Mayfield commanding the team on his fifth-year option, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, they're definitely going to be accepting his fifth-year option. So, he's a talented dude. He needs to be in the right situation, and I think Stefanski's the best chance for it. So let's give Baker the chance that he deserves. Hopefully, he actually does live up to the hype, especially with Odell Beckham Jr. back to health. There's a good chance that under Kevin Stefanski, he can continue what he did in the second half of last season. Obviously, you got some great backups here in Case Keenum and Kyle Lauletta, who's a guy who I actually was a pretty big fan of a couple of years ago. So starting off with the wide receivers as well, we got Odell Beckham Jr., of course, the man, the myth, the legend, somebody who we randomly are worse off with than with. I mean, we're worse off with him than without. So it's a little bit weird, but he is definitely certainly talented, and I hope that the Browns get to reach their potential. And that's coming from me, a Steelers fan. So you already know I'm not biased. I just want the best for each and every single player because good football is more entertaining than football that wins for your team. You guys can disagree with that, but that's my stance. Obviously, you got Jarvis Landry, the LSU boys. Excellent slot weapon, and he's going to be able to dominate. I'm a big fan of this wide receiver duo. I hope to God that they actually get to reach their potential. Demetric Felton, another really good pickup later on. He had a terrible pro day. Terrible. Like one of the worst. He had like 0.9 RAS score, which was god awful. So hopefully he's able to get that in order because I think he could be a very, very, very dynamic weapon, definitely in all facets of the game, including return. So next, we got Donovan Peoples-Jones, somebody who actually had a really good year last year as we hear the train go by. But Donovan Peoples-Jones, I'm not a big fan of him, but I'm definitely in the middle on him. There's people who think he's a god. There's some people who think he's complete doo-doo. And he's definitely not. He has potential. There's a reason. I remember back when I first heard of his name, it was like a future Madden draft roster. He's been very talented for quite a while. Rashard Higgins, Hollywood Higgins, another really good guy. So the team really doesn't have obviously Anthony Schwartz as well. Nice gadget weapon you guys picked up, I believe, in the third. You guys have a lot of weapons, and you have a very deep receiving core. Hopefully, you guys stay healthy. That's been an issue. Healthiness and consistency has been a little bit off. Even Alexander Hollins, I'm a big fan of him. So there's a lot of really good talent here. I think you guys are definitely set up. Talk about depth. Like, look at the tight end group. You got Austin Hooper and Njoku, Harrison Bryant. Like, all of these guys are very talented tight ends, and you guys should be pretty damn happy with how this entire roster is panning out right now because you talk about you had someone 5 years ago, like you tell them like, hey, the roster is going to be probably the best on paper in the NFL. They would literally be like laughing at you and just saying you're a complete idiot, right? But regardless, let's look at the running backs really quick to get the skill positions done with Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb. Obviously, they're absolute monsters. You guys got like John Kelly right there. I love that as a nice depth back, like goal line back. So I think that's a really good addition as well. Big fan of all those guys. So let's look at some tackles as well. We can also look at the positions where they like list right and left tackle. You got Jack Conklin here. You got Jedrick Wills, not Chuba Hubbard, Chris Hubbard. Really good depth here, including James Hudson. Like you have four tackles that could all start, and that is exactly what you need to win a championship. If you guys get where I'm rolling with this. Bunch of other guys who I don't really know too much about, so I'm not going to BS you guys with me telling you that I do know some stuff. So, like overall, that tackle squad is really good. Looking at the guards, you got Batonio and Teller, who are two of the best last year. Big fan of all of them. But to be honest, I feel like the depth is a little bit lacking. That's something that I would be really kind of worrying about. Obviously, you can use where's he at? you can use James Hudson as a guard. He didn't have that long of arms. So Chris Hubbard as well. He's been all around as a former Steelers fan. We already know how useful he was as a nice fill-in guy. So you can use those guys as guards. It's just a little bit worrisome right now with the guys who are these backups. Forbes, I'm not going to pronounce that, and then Gossett. And then lastly, centers. You got J.C. Treader, Nick Harris, two really good centers right there. Maybe you can use Nick Harris as a backup guard. I don't know, but overall, there's pretty much excellent starting power as well as depth. I love that. That's a great addition to your offense. Looking at the defensive trenches, Jordan Elliott, Tommy Togiai, Malik Jackson, Billings, and Marvin Wilson. Like, yes, Damian Square's not bad either. Like, all these guys are really talented. Maybe not the guys who will be on the front page of like a news article or anything like that. None of these guys who will be groundbreaking, but all these guys who are super solid at their position. That's something I really love. Defensive end wise, Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney. Can't talk about this team without mentioning their insane edge rush duo. Hopefully Jadeveon has a better career here in Cleveland for at least this 1 year. Takk McKinley is still a very high ceiling guy, including Curtis Weaver, who, you look at PFF, they had him in the first round, right? He was definitely somebody who they thought was an amazing player. Joe Jackson as well, not too terrible, but I mean, maybe there's a little bit of lack of depth here, but look at all these guys who could probably move into that 4-3 defensive end spot. I think you guys are perfectly fine. Looking at the linebacker roles, you got your inside linebackers, Phillips and Anthony Walker Jr. Walker was a great free agent signing. Kind of saved your linebacking core for the most part, but you also have a man in Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah who's going to be playing your will linebacker. I love that shit. You guys can correct me if I get a position wrong, because, I mean, I just think about a 6'1", 220-pound dude, and like probably is going to be on the weak side. But I mean, talk about steal. It was unbelievable that he fell to 57 or something. Like, unbelievable. Amazing player. Mack Wilson as well. Really good steal back when you guys like stole him in like the 5th round. Sion Takitaki, he has shown some great flashes. So this entire linebacking core is looking really good. Obviously, Malcolm Smith is not bad either. And then these guys are kind of like out of the question. There's not really much to talk about with them. And then looking at the quick secondary notes, we'll look at safety first just for you guys. You got John Johnson here. Excellent signing. Commander of the Rams defense, which was one of the most dominant in the league. Grant Delpit, who's a beast who hasn't even gotten a chance to show himself. Richard LeCounte, who only fell because he ran a 4.9, which there's a reason. Like, you should definitely fall if you run a 4.9. Ronnie Harrison, another monster. Sheldrick Redwine, another really good safety. This is a good secondary group. And I'm saying that very lightly because it's an excellent secondary group. Denzel Ward, Troy Hill, Greedy Williams as your starting three, not to mention Greg Newsome being out there. Like, yes, I'm just going to say that. Yes, it is an unbelievably talented roster in terms of secondary depth, defensive depth. The only thing that is still the issue is maybe in linebacker talent, which, again, maybe this year is the only time where the linebacker talent will be bad, because I think that JOK can develop into a stronger linebacker. But that's the roster, guys. Very in-depth look, because I think there's a lot more guys on this roster to talk about than most. Let's get right into the video, and let's start talking about the Cleveland Browns and how they're going to fare this season. So, of course, they're starting off the year against Kansas City. That's a little bit of an issue. I still think Greedy Williams is raw. I think that, obviously, we know Greg Newsome is raw. John Johnson still is going to be getting used to the system. You guys are getting where I'm going here. I think the offensive power of Kansas City is a little too much. We know that Cleveland can start out a little bit slow as well. I'm going to be obviously giving Kansas City this nod. Kansas City revamping their entire offensive line, that just totally saved their entire like year. So cheers to Kansas City for being able to just totally rework everything and just be able to kick ass. Big fan of what Casey's done. Houston going to Cleveland. This is a pretty damn easy one. We're not going to talk about it too much. Houston just does not match anywhere with Cleveland at this point, especially without Deshaun Watson. Hopefully, he is able to come back without any real allegations, because for the sake of his career as well as the health of the people who are allegedly being assaulted by him verbally, that it's just kind of nice to know that nobody was hurt in the process. Next, Chicago going to Cleveland. Cleveland's going to have a nasty pass rush. Still a hole at left tackle right there. Developing Tevin Jenkins, who's known to have injury issues as well as personality issues. Yes, I do know that for a fact. That's the reason why he fell. I think that Cleveland's going to be able to take the cake here. I just think that Jadeveon Clowney or Myles Garrett's going to be able to get in, and Justin Fields is going to be adjusting a little bit. Cleveland, Minnesota. I think people are overhyping Minnesota quite a bit. Minnesota's damn good, but to be fair, I think that they're solely reliant on that run game, which also, to be fair, Cleveland is known to not have the best linebacking core. So it kind of balances out that way to where Minnesota has that advantage, but it's a tough call. It's a tough call, and I'm not against Minnesota at all. I just don't think that Kirk Cousins is as amazing as what some people think. It's not a bright lights game. I'm gonna have Minnesota like randomly get this game. I seriously think that Patrick Pearson might have like maybe one major play that just turns the tide of the game. And running with Dalvin Cook, again, we talked about it. Those defensive tackles, really good, but not all stars. And they might be able to run up the gut because the inside linebackers are weak. And that's where Dalvin Cook's going to be eating up. So I think that that might be the path to victory for Minnesota. Then you go to Los Angeles, another just midday game. That's an interesting one because I'm a big fan of Los Angeles, but I still think there are some holes on the offensive line. You know, they have some good pieces there, but I think they're still missing one guard spot where Trey Turner was. So you guys can, of course, correct me where I'm wrong on that, but I think Cleveland might be able to deal with that pretty well. The run game for the Chargers is probably the one thing that the Chargers don't have an extreme advantage in. So it kind of evens out. Their weaknesses kind of cancel each other out. And for that, I think Cleveland actually might sneak a victory in LA. That's a big upset game for me because I'm a huge fan of the Chargers. Next, Arizona, fully loaded, going against Cleveland, fully loaded. My issue is Cliff Kingsbury. You know, it's too much of a quick pass game, and these guys are meant for press man. Like the entire secondary is built for press man. And John Johnson's seen everything about Arizona. Like he knows Arizona like it's just second nature. I think Cleveland's going to be able to sneak a victory out right there. Then Denver goes to Cleveland on Thursday night. This could be a sneaky win for Denver right here, just because it just randomly could be. But I'm going to be going Cleveland. I think that they're going to take the cake there. They're going to be on a winning streak right here, guys, because they go against Pittsburgh, who's fully rested. But again, that offensive line, not the best right now, especially at the tackle spots, which is the one spot where Cleveland is strongest, is where they have their edge rush. So that's a little bit of a pain in the ass right there. And of course, with a nasty secondary, Big Ben not going to do too hot against that. Next, Cleveland going to Cincinnati. People start getting mad about me going against Cincinnati, thinking I'm undervaluing Cincinnati. I'm not. This division is just really fucking good. Look at them; they got 7-10. If anybody tries to like say that Cincinnati is better than that, I mean, we don't even know if Joe Burrow is going to be comfortable on that leg. I'm not saying that he will get injured again because again, we're assuming full healthiness, but there needs to be some form of discrepancy there. Cleveland going to New England, though. I think New England takes this one just because it's Belichick, and I think that that entire defense is going to be a little bit more revamped. Big fan of what New England was able to do with being able to bring back the majority of their dudes and spend so much in free agency. They're a good roster. They're taking advantage of a down year in the NFL. Detroit going to Cleveland, we're not going to even talk about that. Detroit might not even win a game this year. They will. They certainly will, but it's definitely not against this team. This team's just a little too good. Next, we got Cleveland going to Baltimore. And again, Baltimore is weirdly good and terrible at the same time. I seriously don't have that much faith in Lamar Jackson, but he is damn good during the season. During the regular season, I think he's good. So we're going to be honest here. We're going to split these two games because I think home field advantage as well as rest is going to be able to flip the tides in Cleveland, flip the tides towards Cleveland's advantage. And I think that that's going to be something that's going to be very beneficial. You know, Myles Garrett's going to be able to get some pressure off the edge there. Lamar will be able to do it once. He won't be able to do it twice. Next, Vegas goes to Cleveland. Vegas fucked their entire offensive line. So that's all I got to say. Cleveland going to Green Bay, though. Again, this is assuming Aaron Rodgers is there. I'm going to have to say Aaron Rodgers takes the cake. If he doesn't, we're going to, of course, change all of the scores and all the games with Green Bay because that's going to make a very big difference. But I think, again, if there's somebody who's going to be able to evade pass rush, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. And if there's somebody who's going to be able to play well under pressure, it's Aaron Rodgers. So we'll do that. Then Pittsburgh takes a nice win over Cleveland at home because Pitt's going to be fighting for that playoff spot. And right now, they actually both make it. And then finally, Cincy is just going, like Cleveland's going to be trying to rest their starters or something because they're going to feel kind of like nice and comfy. And Cincy's going to be going balls to the walls. So I think that one's a toss-up game right there. But of course, this could easily just change with that right there. Okay, it's really dependent on what Aaron Rodgers does. So that's the video, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy. Stay tuned for more videos, guys, because I know that whenever I post these, we're actually losing subs, but that's perfectly fine. As long as you guys enjoy it, that's all that matters. So I'll see you on the far side. Peace.